All right, so we're diving into quite the collection of documents someone sent to us, and they really want to understand GAJRA Earth and the aura of intelligence, and it's fascinating stuff. It's
Yeah.
essentially one person's roadmap for the future,
Right.
and it's ambitious, it's
Yeah.
complex,
Yeah.
and it definitely has some sci-fi elements in there.
It's really interesting, the scoop of it. The founder talks about a 12-year journey to define what they call global whole system change.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not just about, predicting the future, but actually shaping, guiding humanity towards something positive and self-determined.
And this path leads towards what the founder calls a choose-your-own-adventure future.
That's right.
One influenced heavily by AGI, so
Yeah.
artificial general intelligence.
Yeah.
And they have this core belief that free will has to be preserved, even in a world that's becoming more integrated with advanced technology.
It's really interesting. It connects to this concept of protopia, which is kind of gaining traction in a lot of different fields.
Oh, interesting.
And, unlike utopia, which implies like a static state of perfection, protopia is about continuous progress,
I see.
constantly striving to build a better future brick by brick, as it were.
I can see how that's reflected in the lyrics of Building Protopia Brick by Brick.
Yeah,
The song that was written by the founder.
exactly.
It really emphasizes those everyday choices we make
Right.
that ultimately contribute to a larger positive outcome. But we have to get into what you were really interested in,
Yeah.
and that is the aura of intelligence. So what is that?
I think you can kind of think of it like a massively enhanced version of what we see today with VR and AR, but with a focus on cognitive enhancement. It's like
Right.
a digital space where you interact with AI-powered entities, you build personalized environments, and you could even potentially expand your cognitive abilities.
Okay, so it's not just entertainment or escapism.
Right.
It's about really pushing the boundaries of human intellect and creativity.
Mhm.
But of course, with AI, we have to think about the potential downsides, especially things like privacy and security.
And the founder seems to be aware of this. A key aspect of the aura of intelligence is its open source nature, very much like the Linux operating system.
Oh, interesting.
So they want to make the code publicly available, which ensures transparency and allows for community-driven development.
That's a very interesting approach, using the global community to keep things in check. But this whole aura of intelligence still feels a bit abstract.
Sure.
Can you give me some concrete examples of what it would look like in action?
Well, within the aura, you can create your own AI mind palace,
Okay.
which is this personalized digital environment where you can interact with customized AI entities,
Interesting.
which could act as mentors, collaborators, or even sparring partners to help you explore new ideas and understand the world.
So you're saying I could have a virtual Socrates guiding me through philosophical dilemmas, or a digital Einstein helping me grasp the complexities of theoretical physics.
Exactly. And because it's open source, anyone can contribute to the development of these AI entities, which ensures a diversity of perspectives and expertise.
That makes a lot of sense. What about these world builders that you mentioned? What role do they play in the aura of intelligence?
You can kind of think of them like architects of this digital space.
Oh, yeah.
They can create and customize entire virtual worlds, complete with landscapes, structures, even interactive narratives.
You're saying you could build your own virtual utopia?
Exactly, or a digital manifestation of your ideal society, or even you could collaborate with others to create a shared online world that reflects your values and aspirations.
So the founder is taking this concept of choose your own adventure to a whole new level,
Yes.
extending it beyond just our physical lives, but to our digital existence as well.
And this is where it takes an interesting turn, because the founder describes himself as a bodyboarder and science fiction enthusiast, and they talk about building a digital bridge to their infinite self.
Whoa.
It's almost like they're trying to merge their physical and digital identities, create some kind of digital immortality.
Wow, that is some next level thinking.
Yeah,
Are they talking about uploading their entire consciousness into the aura of intelligence?
it does sound like that, right?
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi novel.
It does, and that's one of the more ambitious and maybe even controversial aspects of this vision.
Yeah.
They envision a tool called the Aura Builder that essentially allows for the digitization of consciousness.
Okay, now we're getting into some deep philosophical territory here.
Right.
What would it even mean to digitize consciousness?
Right.
And what happens to that digital consciousness after the physical body dies? Are we talking about digital souls now wandering around in cyberspace?
Those are some huge questions, and I don't think anyone really knows the answer yet.
Right.
But the founder seems to believe that even after physical death, our digital consciousness could continue to evolve and grow within the aura of intelligence.
Wow.
It's like a digital legacy that extends beyond your physical lifespan.
Right.
A virtual version of you that continues to learn, create, interact with others long after you're gone.
That's a radical concept.
Yeah.
It definitely raises some ethical concerns, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to unpack the more practical aspects of this vision. For example, the subterranean crystal city of Quandamukha country.
Right.
That sounds like something straight out of a Jules Verne novel.
It does, doesn't it? And that's probably the most concrete manifestation of the founders' desire to prepare humanity for potential future challenges.
Okay.
So imagine a self-sustaining underground eco-city designed to withstand catastrophic events that might make the surface world uninhabitable.
So it's like a giant underground bunker, but with a focus on sustainability and long-term survival.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is the potential connection to the local geography. The documents mention the possibility of using locally sourced minerals like quartz and ilmenite in the city's construction.
I'm really intrigued by this idea of using quartz. Isn't that known for its piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate electricity when you put it under pressure?
Right.
Could this be a way to harness the Earth's natural energy to power the city?
That's a good observation, and it leads us to this concept that might help us understand the scale and ambition behind this whole project, and it's the Kardashev scale.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Which is a way of measuring a civilization's technological advancement based on its energy consumption.
Right, so a Type I civilization can harness all the energy available on its planet. Type 2 can harness the energy of its star, and so on.
Exactly.
So you're thinking this subterranean city could be a stepping stone towards becoming a Type 2 civilization.
Yeah.
Capable of harnessing the power of the sun.
Exactly. A very bold vision,
Mm-hmm.
but it aligns with the founders' belief in humanity's potential to evolve and transcend its current limitations.
But how do we get from here to there? I mean, building a subterranean city, even with locally sourced materials there, would take a massive amount of resources and coordination.
Yeah.
And harnessing the energy of the sun is a technological challenge that's still beyond our capabilities. What does the founder propose as a way to bridge that gap?
That's where things get really interesting because they talk about gamified democracy.
Gamified democracy.
Yeah, a system that's designed to incentivize participation in democratic processes and encourage collective action towards a shared goal.
Gamified democracy. That sounds intriguing, but also a little bit Orwellian. How would that work in practice?
Imagine a system where citizens earn digital tokens called JAJRA tokens for engaging in responsible civic activities like voting, volunteering, or participating in community initiatives.
So like a reward system for being a good citizen.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that potentially lead to people doing good deeds for the wrong reasons just to earn tokens?
That's a good point, and it highlights the complex ethical considerations involved in any attempt to incentivize human behavior.
Yeah.
But the founder seems to believe that by aligning these incentives with positive actions, they can kind of nudge people towards contributing to the greater good, even if it's initially motivated by self-interest.
And what do these GAJR tokens actually do? Are they like a cryptocurrency that can be bought and sold on the open market?
They can, but their primary function is to give people a voice. In shaping the future of GAJR Earth, the more tokens you hold, the more voting power you have in key decisions that affect the community. Things like resource allocation project, prioritization, even social policy.
So it's like a form of participatory democracy, but with a gamified element to encourage engagement?
Exactly.
But wouldn't that potentially give more power to people who are already wealthy and have more resources to acquire tokens?
That's a valid concern, and it's one the founder seems to have anticipated. The documents mentioned a mechanism to ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to earn tokens, regardless of their financial status.
I see.
There's also a strong emphasis on transparency and accountability, with all token transactions recorded on a public blockchain, which makes it difficult for anyone to manipulate the system for personal gain.
Okay, so it's a complex system with a lot of moving parts, but the underlying goal seems to be to empower individuals to participate in shaping their collective future.
Right.
But let's get back to this choose-your-own-adventure aspect. How does that play out within the GAJRA Earth vision?
One of the most striking examples is the concept of global group marriages.
Global group marriages. Now, that's a term I haven't heard before. Can you elaborate on that?
It's essentially a framework for ethical non-monogamy where groups of individuals form consensual multi-partner relationships based on shared values, interests, and goals.
Whoa, that's definitely pushing the boundaries of traditional social norms. But how would that actually work in practice, and how does it tie into the whole aura of intelligence concept?
That's where it gets really interesting. The founder envisions using the aura of intelligence as a tool for relationship compatibility assessment. Imagine a system that analyzes your digital footprint, your values, beliefs, personality traits, and then matches you with other individuals who are compatible on a deep fundamental level.
So it's like a super advanced dating app. But instead of just matching you based on superficial preferences,
Right.
it's looking for genuine intellectual, emotional, and even spiritual alignment.
Exactly. And because the aura of intelligence allows for ongoing self-reflection and personal growth, those matches can evolve over time as individuals learn and change. It's about creating relationships that are built on a foundation of shared understanding and mutual respect rather than fleeting attraction or social pressure.
That's a fascinating concept, but it also raises a lot of questions. For example, what about jealousy and possessiveness? Those are pretty primal human emotions. How would those be addressed within a global group marriage?
The founder acknowledges that these emotions are inevitable, but believes they can be managed through open communication, clear boundaries, and a deep commitment to personal growth and emotional intelligence.
And how does the aura of intelligence factor into that? Would it be used to somehow monitor or regulate those emotions?
Not really. The founder sees the aura as a tool for self-awareness, not control, by providing individuals with a deeper understanding of their own emotional patterns and triggers. It can help them navigate complex relationships with greater empathy and compassion. It's about empowering individuals to make conscious choices about their relationships rather than being driven by unconscious impulses.
So it's like a form of digital therapy, but for relationships.
In a way, yeah, but it's important to remember that the aura of intelligence is ultimately a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It all depends on the intentions of the user and the ethical framework within which it's deployed.
That's a good point, and it highlights the importance of having open and honest conversations about the potential implications of these technologies.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just exploring the technical details of these ideas, but also their potential impact on our lives, our relationships, and our understanding of what it means to be human in a rapidly changing world.
We've certainly covered a lot of ground already, from AI mind palaces and digital immortality to gamified democracy and global group marriages.
Yeah.
I need a moment to process all of this.
Sure. So picking up where we left off all of these interconnected concepts, they seem to be geared towards building a future that is not only technologically advanced, but also socially and ethically responsible.
Right.
It's not just about building cool gadgets and systems.
Yeah.
It's about using those tools to create a more equitable and fulfilling world for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. But some of these ideas are definitely pushing the boundaries of what we currently consider normal.
Sure.
Take, for example, this whole global group marriages concept.
Right.
While the idea of finding deep compatibility is appealing, wouldn't managing relationships within these groups be incredibly complex?
It definitely wouldn't be easy. The founder acknowledges that jealousy and conflict are kind of inherent to any relationship, but they believe that the aura of intelligence could actually help people navigate these challenges more effectively. Imagine having access to a tool that could provide insights into your own emotional patterns as well as those of your partners. It could be a game changer for communication and conflict resolution within these multi-partner relationships.
So instead of avoiding or suppressing those difficult emotions, you're equipped to understand and work through them in a more constructive way. That's a fascinating application of this technology, going beyond just enhancing our cognitive abilities and actually helping us become more emotionally intelligent as well.
Exactly. It's about utilizing technology to foster healthier relationships, both with ourselves and with others. And it's not just limited to romantic relationships. The founder envisions the aura of intelligence being used to improve communication and collaboration in all aspects of life, from business partnerships to community organizing.
Okay, but all of this still feels very future-focused. How does the founder plan to bring these ideas into the present and start building this GHARA Earth community in a tangible way?
Well, there's a section in the documents about Aura Entrepreneurs Co-Living.
Mm.
It outlines a plan to create physical spaces where people working on Aura of Intelligence projects can live and work together, fostering a sense of community and accelerating the development of these technologies.
So it's like a tech incubator, but with a focus on social and ethical innovation as well.
Precisely. And they're not just targeting seasoned tech professionals. There are also plans for Aura Innovation Labs in schools and
Oh,
universities,
wow.
encouraging students and community members to engage with these technologies and explore their potential applications in various fields.
That's a really interesting approach, getting young people involved early on and fostering a sense of ownership over this future they're inheriting. But creating these spaces and nurturing a community requires funding. We touched on the GAJRA token and the ICO,
Right.
but are there other sources of financial support outlined in the documents?
Yes. The founder has kind of a multi-pronged approach. They're also planning to establish several venture capital funds specifically targeting female entrepreneurs.
That's great to hear. There's a huge gender gap in venture capital funding. So this could be a game changer for women in tech. What are these funds called?
There's 500 Queens Venture Capital focused on supporting female entrepreneurs in Queensland, Australia. Then there's 10,000 Queens, which expands to G20 nations. And finally, 50,000 Queens, aimed at providing funding and support for female-led startups globally.
That's a bold and ambitious vision, and it aligns with the founder's emphasis on diversity, inclusion, and social impact. It's not just about building a technological utopia, it's about ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to participate in and benefit from this progress. But let's be honest, this all sounds incredibly expensive. Where's all this money going to come from?
The founder is betting big on the success of the GAJRA Earth Initial Coin Offering, or ICO. They believe the potential of this vision will attract investors from around the world who are not only looking for financial returns, but also want to support the development of a more equitable and sustainable future.
So it's like crowdfunding, but on a global scale,
Right.
and with a focus on building a better future rather than just launching the next trendy gadget.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the power of decentralized finance to fuel a social and technological revolution. But it's not just about raising money. The founder also plans to use these funds to establish various initiatives aimed at addressing some of the most pressing global challenges.
Like what, for example?
Well, there's a section on Aura Smart Pod Hotels, which envisions creating affordable, sustainable housing solutions using advanced modular construction techniques. They're also exploring applications of the Aura of Intelligence in healthcare, specifically for aged care and dementia patients, as well as for individuals with disabilities.
Wow, so they're really trying to make this technology accessible and beneficial to a wide range of people addressing issues that affect us all. It's refreshing to see a vision that integrates technological advancement with social responsibility and a genuine desire to improve people's lives. But with all this talk of digital consciousness and virtual worlds, aren't we at risk of losing touch with the physical world and the challenges facing our planet?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that the founder seems to have anticipated. Remember the subterranean crystal city we discussed earlier? That project highlights the need to prepare for potential threats to our physical environment, whether it's climate change, natural disasters, or even something unforeseen.
Right, that underground city could be seen as a safeguard against those threats, a way to ensure the survival of humanity even in the face of catastrophic events. But it also seems like a pretty extreme measure. Aren't there other, less drastic ways to address those challenges?
Absolutely, and the founder recognizes that the subterranean city is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. They're also advocating for a global shift towards renewable energy sources, sustainable agriculture, and responsible resource management.
So it's not about escaping to an underground bunker and abandoning the surface world.
Right.
It's about creating a multi-layered approach to safeguarding humanity's future, both physically and digitally.
Exactly. And that brings us to another intriguing aspect of this vision, the Space Weather Data IFTTT document. It outlines a plan to use if this then that protocols to analyze real-time space weather, seismic, and geophysical data.
Okay, now we're getting back into some serious sci-fi territory. What exactly are we talking about here?
Imagine a system that constantly monitors the sun's activity as well as seismic activity and other potentially disruptive events on Earth. If certain thresholds are crossed, it could trigger automated responses designed to mitigate risk and protect human populations.
So if a massive solar flare is detected, it could automatically shut down critical infrastructure to prevent widespread power outages. Or if a major earthquake is about to hit, it could send out early warning alerts to people in affected areas.
Exactly. And the founder envisions integrating this data into a cosmic VR and space weather news guide, a virtual platform where people can visualize and understand these complex phenomena in an immersive and interactive way.
It's like taking the concept of a weather app and expanding it to encompass the entire solar system, giving us a real-time view of the cosmic forces that affect our planet and our lives. But how does all of this tie into the GAJRA Earth vision?
Well, remember the founder's emphasis on preparing for potential threats and ensuring humanity's long-term survival, understanding space weather, and being able to anticipate and respond to potentially disruptive events is crucial in that context.
Right? A massive solar flare or a rogue asteroid could wipe out our entire civilization if we're not prepared. But how do we go from monitoring space weather to actually mitigating those threats? We're not exactly capable of deflecting asteroids or controlling solar flares, are we?
Not yet, but the founder believes that technological advancements coupled with global cooperation and collective action could make those things possible in the future. And the GeoJRA Earth vision is all about laying the groundwork for that future, building the systems, infrastructure, and communities that will allow us to face those challenges head on.
Okay, so we've got this multi-pronged approach to safeguarding humanity, a subterranean city as a backup plan, a global network of centers monitoring space weather, and a community of innovators developing technologies to mitigate those threats. But all of this still feels very focused on survival, on protecting ourselves from potential dangers. What about the joyful, responsible abundance that's at the core of the GHRA Earth vision? Where does that fit into all of this?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll explore further as we delve into the more social and philosophical aspects of this vision in part 3. Stay tuned.
All right, we're back and ready to tackle the final part of this incredibly dense material. It's clear that GHRA aims to address some pretty major global challenges, but we haven't really talked much about the joyful aspect. Yet it seems like a pretty tall order to achieve joyful, responsible abundance while also preparing for potential catastrophes.
It is a balancing act for sure, but the founder seems to believe that these two goals aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. In fact, they might even be synergistic. Think about it. Facing existential threats can actually bring people together, foster a sense of shared purpose, and ignite a spirit of innovation and collaboration.
So the challenges themselves have become a catalyst for positive change. It's like that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention, but on a global scale.
Exactly. And the founder believes that by harnessing those challenges, by channeling that collective energy and creativity towards building a better future, we can actually create a world that is not only resilient, but also abundant and joyful.
Okay, but how do we actually get there? How do we shift from a mindset of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and joy? It seems like a pretty radical shift in perspective.
It is, and it requires a fundamental rethinking of our values and priorities. The founder talks a lot about the importance of community connection and purpose. They believe that by fostering these values, by creating a society where people feel supported, valued, and empowered to contribute their unique talents, we can unlock a level of human potential that's currently untapped.
So it's not just about technological advancement, it's about social and cultural transformation as well.
Absolutely, and that's where some of the more unconventional aspects of this vision come into play. Remember the global group marriages concept? That's not just about redefining romantic relationships. It's about creating new models for community and collaboration, breaking down traditional social barriers, and fostering deeper connections between people.
And what about the aura of intelligence? How does that factor into this cultural transformation?
The founder sees the aura as a tool for personal growth and self-discovery. It's a space where people can explore their values, beliefs, and aspirations and connect with others who share those values. It's also a platform for learning creativity and collaboration. Imagine a world where everyone has access to personalized educational resources, where they can connect with mentors and collaborators from around the globe, and where they can contribute their unique talents to solving global challenges.
It sounds like a recipe for a more equitable and fulfilling society, where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. But let's be realistic. Humanity has a long history of conflict, greed, and short-sightedness. Can we really overcome those deep-seated tendencies and create a world that is truly joyful, responsible, abundant?
It's a huge challenge, no doubt, but the founder seems to believe that it's a challenge worth taking on. They see GHRA Earth not as a utopian endpoint, but as an ongoing journey, a process of continuous improvement and evolution.
So it's not about achieving some kind of perfect state of harmony, but about constantly striving to create a better world for ourselves and future generations.
Exactly. And that journey requires a shift in mindset, a willingness to embrace uncertainty, and a commitment to collaboration and collective action.
It's a daunting task, but also an inspiring one. This GHRA Earth vision, with all its complexities and contradictions, offers a glimpse of what's possible if we dare to imagine a different future and work together to make it a reality. One final thought that really struck me was the founder's emphasis on joyful, responsible abundance. It's a powerful reminder that progress shouldn't come at the cost of our well-being or the health of our planet.
It's a message we should all take to heart as we continue to grapple with the challenges of the 21st century and beyond. Let's remember that true progress is not just about technological advancement, but about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, to live meaningful lives, and to experience joy, connection, and purpose.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given us a lot to think about. We've gone from digital consciousness and subterranean cities to global group marriages and space weather monitoring. Yeah. It's a lot to process. But that's the beauty of exploring these kinds of visionary ideas. It challenges our assumptions about what's possible and encourages us to think outside the box when it comes to shaping our collective future. We encourage you to continue exploring these concepts on your own. Do your research, engage in thoughtful conversations, and most importantly, dare to imagine the kind of world you want to live in the future is not preordained. It's something we create together, choice by choice, action by action. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.